What's up, guys? You're back with the TMR podcast. I guess the reason you're watching this review is one, you're just cruising through YouTube. You get it? Because it was a very jungle cruising through. I can stop now. Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back to the TMR podcast. This is the review for Jungle Cruise, the latest Disney film that is based on the Disney attraction. You know, they did try quite a few times with Tomorrowland. Tried it with something else, also But here we are with Jungle Cruise that stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emily Blunt, Jesse Plemons, and many more. It's directed by John Michael Cera. And basically it follows Dr. Houghton and her brother in search of the tears of the moon, and in order to find that, they do enlist the help of The Rock, who basically is the tour guide, the skipper per se, for all these Amazon jungle cruises. Look, I grew up with the Jungle Cruise ride. I've been to almost all of the Disneylands except Shanghai and Orlando, and I've always rode the Jungle Cruises purely for the horrible jokes. Yeah. This film is based on that, and I probably think that that Disney will reinvent or remake that ride to suit the film, especially if it does do well. So, okay, what's the positives about this movie? First off, I like the chemistry between The Rock and Emily Blunt. They have good chemistry, actually. You don't see The Rock with many romantic roles. He's usually this really big buff guy who's good at something. And that's no different in this film either. But with a co-star like Emily Blunt, who did look like she was having a good time, and The Rock also seemed like he was having a good time as well. It did translate on screen because at the end of the day, it seemed like they do have a lot of on-screen chemistry, and both of them are charismatic actors, talented actors. And you know, it's very easy for a film like this to have shoot-in or, you know, half-assed performances, because people can easily see it as a corporate Disney film or like a Disney film based on a ride. But kudos to The Rock and Emily Blunt as well as the rest of the cast, because when they were giving their performances, I felt that they were having good fun, and at the end of the day, it's what this film is all about. So yeah, kudos to both of them. Good job. Also, one of the things that I really enjoyed about this film was the banter between the characters, the jokes. Most of the jokes for me do land because I was a big fan of the Jungle Cruise rides, and all of the jokes that were in that ride, are in this film, especially the toucan jokes or the orange juice jokes, or there's just so much more that I'm not going to spoil for you, especially if you haven't gone to the ride or watched the movie. But yeah, it's definitely a tribute to all the Jungle Cruise fans out there, and I did appreciate that quite a lot. Also, another good thing that I found about this movie was the good world building. I actually was surprised as to how good the world building was. At first, I thought we were going to this generic, you know, Jumanji style, typical The Rock movie, with, you know, dry humor or somewhat forced humor. But I'm actually surprised as to how this film handled itself. Think of Indiana Jones meets Pirates of the Caribbean, and there you have Jungle Cruise. Basically, it combines the adventurous tone, the mysterious, mystical adventure thing, with the whole fantasy parts about the Pirates of the Caribbean lore. And I do think that it did work. I mean, you know, put in quite a few additions in order to make this film more entertaining. And to be fair, I think that the additions were welcome. I mean, it's either that or just seeing The Rock fight another bunch of snakes for like 2 hours, which definitely wouldn't have been as enjoyable. Okay, here come the negatives. So there's one thing that I didn't like about this film, because I couldn't find too much to nitpick, because I'm enjoying it like the way it's supposed to be enjoyed, which is a typical 80s, 90s style adventure action movie, similar to Indiana Jones, similar to all the movies of that age. So basically, the one negative that I did find from this whole thing was that the film does feel a bit too Disney-fied, if that's a word. I feel that some things happen too easily. Okay, kudos to them. They do try to explain quite a lot of the crazy things that happen in this film, and fair play. But this is the problem that I have with most Disney films, is that they play it too safe. And they don't do that with Marvel films, and they don't do that with Disney Pixar films. They go on with the whole tearjerker thing, with the whole emotional thing. They just hit home with that. They're not afraid to kill characters off. They're not afraid to take risks in order for you to make the film more memorable from an emotional point of view. At the end of this film, everything wraps up in a neat bow, the way most Disney films do. And yeah, I found it a bit of a bummer, because we did have a good thing going. And then if they kept the emotion and if they kept the sense of realism without Disneyfying it too much, I think it would have made more of an impact on me. But still, guys, in conclusion, it's really enjoyable. It's good 90s fun. As I said before, you don't get much movies like this nowadays. Great chemistry from The Rock and Emily Blunt, two great actors who seemed like they had a great time. And as you can see from press interviews that they are doing right now, they look like they're great friends. And, if they have fun on the set of the film, it'll definitely translate into the film being more enjoyable. So funnily enough, get this, The Rock gets along with most of his co-stars. You can see him and Kevin Hart having the time of their lives, him and Emily Blunt becoming besties. And, his co-stars always remain friends after. Except Vin Diesel. Familia. Okay, guys, I'm going to give this film a 7 out of 10. Guys, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Press the like button for me if you want. And please follow me on Spotify. I'm also there too, in the TMR podcast, if you search it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.